The next step is to take that strategy map and begin measuring and monitoring our performance against those objectives. We're going to look across the organization for indicators on how we're performing against each of these objectives. Now, you can see I'm choosing the word carefully and saying indicators, not measures. So on your car, for example, dashboard, you have a check engine light indicator. Now, the indicator doesn't help you diagnose what's wrong with your engine. It looks at a bunch of different things and tells you, the driver, overall whether your engine needs maintenance or not. It's just an indicator. We're looking for indicators around each one of these objectives, not specific measures. Like with your car, if one of these indicators triggers red, in other words, performance significantly below expectations, you're going to use some diagnostic equipment to understand what's happening, no different than your mechanic uses diagnostic equipment to look at your car. So some research we did with Harvard a little while ago seemed to indicate that the leadership team, on average, looks at only 7% of the data that's collected. In other words, 93% of the data that's collected by your organization is not used by the leadership team in their leadership decisions. So in that environment, there's got to be an indicator available across each of these core strategic objectives that can tell you generally whether you're performing in the correct direction or not against these objectives. I'll give you an example. Some of our clients use absenteeism as an indicator of employee satisfaction. It's not precisely right, but they tend to believe if their employees are unhappy, they'll tend to book off sick more. So it's just an indicator. If they see in a branch or a region that absenteeism is increasing, they still have to use diagnostic tools, interviews, HR surveys, and so forth to begin to understand what it is that might be the root cause of the employee's dissatisfaction. Now, you'll still do a survey once a year to validate those indicators, but it means we now have data that's available to us on a monthly basis without people stopping and collecting something new. So in this case, we're able to identify a number of objectives that were already available. So, for example, under modernized technology, they chose to take a look at their project status report. Every month they have a project status meeting where the key IT projects were reviewed, and they're going to use that as an indicator about their modernization activities. If they're looking at modernizing their business processes, they're going to take a look at the existing and new systems to see how many transactions are going through that system. In other words, if we're using the new system, therefore we're obviously modernizing our processes. And secondly, cycle time. What is the time to complete the application, which we know because we know when the transaction was begun and when it was completed compared to the old days. So those are merely examples. This data is available to them and allows them to immediately begin reporting their performance against these strategic objectives.